Hey there. Have you ever felt like the world is closing in on you? Like you're stuck in a place you don't want to be but don't know how to get out? That's exactly how I felt while I was going through my NEET phase. But let me tell you, being a NEET isn't about being lazy or not wanting to work. It's about feeling like you have no other choice to preserve your mental health. And that's exactly how I felt for years. It all started when I was a kid, watching my parents fight daily, their problems consuming them, and in turn, neglecting me. This started translating into school. My grades started dropping and I started feeling anxious day in and day out. That's when I turned to video games. They were my only escape from the world and the only thing that brought me comfort. But that escape came at a cost. The more I played, the more detached I became from the real world. And that's when the depersonalization set in. I started feeling like I wasn't part of the world around me, and that the people I considered friends were just part of something, another world, and that I was just a creature that didn't belong on this planet. Increasing my pain of loneliness by a good amount. It was a painful way to live, but I didn't know how to change it. It wasn't until high school that I finally found a group of friends I could trust, and that eased my pain a bit. But outside that circle of friends, everything was still the same. I had to be cool and hide my vulnerabilities from the world if I didn't want to be bullied. That is how I perceived it. Deep down, I knew I couldn't keep up this social mask forever. These thoughts and feelings were eating me up from the inside, and essentially I realized that I couldn't keep acting like someone I wasn't, and that I needed to be authentic. The intention with this video is to make people understand that people don't choose to become NEETs because they're tired from studying and working. Rather, I'd like to argue that NEETs are people who have become exhausted and burned out from the constant social mask they feel like they have to carry in order to avoid being bullied or survive in the world. Personally, I felt that becoming a NEET was the only way to protect myself from the constant pressures from family and school. If you talk to other NEETs, such as those who comment on the channel Comfy NEET, you'll find that many of them express something similar in form of mental health issues such as anxiety. Something many people will gloss over, but that can seem debilitating to many NEETs, including myself. We need to start paying attention to the emotional needs of our friends, our family, and our loved ones. Because if we don't, we're just going to keep creating more NEETs. More people feel like they don't belong and thus need to isolate themselves from the world. If we want to help NEETs reintegrate into society, it's important that we take the time to understand what they need, instead of projecting what we think would be best for them. The current approach of shaming NEETs and encouraging them through that way, I understand that some people will be angry at the fact that I'm being sarcastic, but I hope you can understand how much this has hurt me, this approach, and that's why I'm being sarcastic about it. But back to the point, and trying to inspire fear in NEETs by saying things like, well, you can't live like this forever, is, as I see it, not working for any NEET. But I will contradict myself with my next point, because the thing that got me out of my NEET phase was being forced by my father in order to keep living at his house to conclude my NEET phase. Before I go into depth, I want to preface this by saying this could have all been avoided if all this pain that I felt, this NEET phase, this constant isolation and loneliness and constant resortion to unhealthy habits. All I needed was my father to be there for me emotionally. But what I will say next up is that even though his approach was harsh, I was forced to adapt, and I chose to survive instead. So being kind would have saved me years of agony, but his approach led me to become, well, it led to the same outcome essentially. Back to the main topic, my father threatened to kick me out if I continued being a NEET, which I understand is a reasonable demand and that many people would agree that it is as well. Unfortunately, my father's constant criticism and unreasonable expectations were what led to me becoming a NEET in the first place. The people around me don't seem to acknowledge this, and instead tell me to focus on the positive and to focus on the future. A specific example is that my mother often tells me to be happy and to not think about the future. I can appreciate the wisdom and the message behind what she says, but to me it feels like she's ignoring my feelings and my expectations, which, if she wants to help me properly, she needs to acknowledge and include into the discussion. It's infuriating because I feel like my father and many other people would just gloss over what happened and tell me that I'm the bad guy. But his actions were what led to me becoming a NEET. And I'm saying this because I want to be able to fit into society. I want to be able to live up to my father's expectations. But not acknowledging who I am as a person, what I am capable of, and being disappointed in me if I don't live up to expectations that are clearly not within my level, is unreasonable. I don't want to demonize him because he does have some great qualities, and at times, although these are rare moments, he does give me tough love, which does make me think of things and which I can agree with. He does offer me wisdom like that, and I appreciate that. But ignoring the fact that his actions led to me becoming a NEET would be a cruelty to myself and would further continue this type of unhealthy parenting that can't just be erased by becoming older. It's something that sticks with you, and that the only way to resolve is to revisit your own past and to resolve these emotional traumas or memories, either by yourself or a therapist or other types of therapy. I think that people who criticize NEETs, let's say non-NEETs, have actually gone through similar experiences as NEETs, and perhaps therefore they can pinpoint criticism. Or maybe they could easily see themselves becoming that way. But right now I'm just projecting. So what I want to say essentially is that both NEETs and non-NEETs, I think, would benefit a lot by showing kindness to each other. And this world in general, actually. Before my conclusion, I'd like to talk about one more thing, and that is the barriers to reintegration for NEETs and how to resolve them. During my NEET phase, I didn't apply for school or a job because I was afraid of meeting old acquaintances and friends who would question me about what I had been doing. I was afraid of being bullied, which I'd managed to avoid in high school, but I didn't know how to resolve if it happened now. To deal with this, I think it would be beneficial to add a self-defense class, both a physical and a verbal one, into the school system, school curriculum. And I think it would also be beneficial to create a program dedicated to NEETs. Often, NEETs may feel like, since they haven't been in the school system for a long period of time, they may feel like they don't know how to get into the rhythm of studying. So creating a program that offers an easy introduction would benefit them. But the second benefit of this system would be that many NEETs feel social anxiety. Often, I'd argue only because they feel scared of being misunderstood and therefore socially excluded. But having a group of NEETs, I believe, would make it much more comfortable for them to join the school system, and even if maybe they thought that the subject was boring, they would still appreciate going to school because they would have the company of people who are like them. So if they practice being social with each other, they could take these skills outside and become social and use those skills for other interests they have in life. The second reason why I didn't apply for jobs or studies as a NEET was because I didn't know how to explain the gap in my resume. I only got out of NEETdom, for now, because my father financially supported me and got me into a massage therapy course that didn't require any prior skills. To reintegrate someone going through any phase into society, I think it's important to have studies and jobs that don't have such a high barrier of reintegration or barrier of or are so hard to come into. I remember being so discouraged when I would see these job listings that required prior experience. Even though I wanted to work and try things, there was this constant threshold. Where I live, most education is free. But if it's in another country where education is expensive, this becomes much harder, and I don't feel qualified to speak about that yet. The third and the easiest way to help NEETs reintegrate into society is by offering them praise and encouragement, especially when you see them getting out of their comfort zone. Many NEETs get criticized for being inactive or unproductive, even when they may be taking actions to be productive. And this can lead to a self-fulfilling prophecy, or a desire to just let it all burn and not engage in anything. Positive feedback from friends and strangers or other people can be a powerful motivator for NEETs to try new things, because they feel like they'll have this pillow that they can fall upon if things go wrong or don't go as they planned. In my experience, having supportive friends helped me take bigger risks and try new things. Your support and kind words would help any NEET going through a NEET phase. My final piece of advice, and something I strongly desire, is to create a community where NEETs can interact with each other. I mean an active one. I'm currently working on building such a community by creating these YouTube videos, because I believe NEETs need a place where they can interact with each other and share their struggles and experiences. Ideally, this community would be led by a psychologist who could facilitate discussions and offer guidance. This type of support would help NEETs feel like they belong and help them take bigger risks in the direction they want to go. So if they want to get a certain degree, they can take bigger risks in order to get there. That's my point of view. While therapy sessions can be expensive and inaccessible for most NEETs, a community like this would bring down that threshold and make it accessible for most NEETs. In conclusion, what I hope you got from the video is that NEETdom, I don't really like that word, is that people who go through a NEET phase is not as simple as wanting to be lazy or not wanting to work. I'd wager to say that 99% of the time, it's a symptom of a much bigger problem. And for people who want to reintegrate needs into society, I think it's important to take the time to listen to them and to think of solutions, or for now, I'd say the best thing is to just to get to know needs. Self-awareness, or having someone to discuss ideas with and offer encouragement and just allow needs to express themselves, I think is very beneficial and can help them, guide them towards something that they want. That is how I'm thinking right now, and I may be wrong, I don't know. I wish I was more confident, but as of now, I am unsure of myself of how to help other needs, besides becoming more self-aware and listening to other people. I want to say a few more sentences before I end the video, and that is that I have this brain fog that makes it hard for me to express the things that I want to express, and that I imagine some things may be very unclear, and that some solution may not make sense that I mentioned in this video. So in that case, I hope you can offer constructive criticism, because I'm really trying my best to express myself clearly. And if something is unclear, feel free to let me know, and I'll do my best to explain what I mean. I hope you got something out of the video. If you're someone going through a NEET phase, I hope you could find some comfort in this video, or maybe have some ideas on what to do from now, or something you'd like to do. For non-NEETs, I hope you can have a better understanding of why someone becomes a NEET, and hopefully be able to show more compassion. Yeah, thank you for watching, and I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like and subscribe. And feel free to comment and share your thoughts and opinions and constructive criticism. Yeah, thanks for watching.